Lions didn't beat the Rams. That was disappointing. Seahawks have been very disappointed in themselves, especially the last 3 weeks. Hey, how are you folks? Jason Horowitz, NFL.com's Pat Kirwan. Glad to be with you here on the NFL Preview Show presented by Tyson Anytizers. And Pat, when you forget the Lions for a sec, because they weren't expected to do anything this year. How disappointing is the season for Seattle?
Oh, it's terrible for them. And Jim Mora takes over the football team. They blended him into the chemistry and the makeup of this team, so it would be an easy and smooth transition. But he got hit with the same thing Holmgren got hit with, injuries, lots of injuries. They're just never healthy. When you lose Lofa-Tupu, the guy who controls the middle of that defense, you're not going to be structurally sound. So it's been injuries mostly, and from the injuries comes the losing, and from the losing comes the frustration, and then you got T.J. Houshmandzadeh acting out, and it's kind of inappropriate.
Well, that's the next part of it here, because you give him $40 million to come to Seattle. Yeah. That's a lot of money for a wide receiver who, you know, you're talking about a guy who's averaging more than 90 catches a season. He's got 35 grabs, 2 touchdowns, both in the same game. Is there enough time here to fix what's wrong with him, Matt Hasselbeck, Nate Burleson on the other side, and all the rest of the parts?
Well, I'm going to define what I think you asked me. Fix what's wrong here. I mean, get them back to a playoff team? They'd have to go 8-1 in my mind to do that, and I don't think they can do those kinds of things. I don't think they're going to make the playoffs. I think they're going to settle into the bottom of this thing and land up hopefully getting 8-8. If they're lucky, I don't think so. I think it's more like 7 wins. And T.J. Houshmandzadeh, one more thing on him. Pretty good receiver. But I went back and checked with some Cincinnati Bengal people. They were happy to let him go. There's this notion they were trying to keep him and everything else. They might have been trying to, but there were guys who said he was as big a problem in the locker room as anyone else that we've been blaming for a long time. And maybe the Bengal harmony has something to do with TJ being missing.
That's a possibility. That's certainly an idea. By the way, Matt Hasselbeck is only 11 completions shy of tying Dave Craig's team franchise record. On the other side, you got a quarterback who's not getting to the top of his career yet. He's starting to build it. Matt Stafford. He was booed last week in Detroit, and you're going to expect that because Detroit fans have been frustrated for a long time. It's not warranted because the guy has got nothing around him, and he's not as bad as what the Lions fans are making it out to be.
It's really inappropriate behavior by the Lion fans, and I've said it many times on my radio show. I'll say it again right here. This kid's not responsible for all the things that have gone wrong in this town, and Dominic Raiola stepped up to the plate and said, don't treat him like Joey Harrington. Stop putting that kind of pressure on him. He'll fall apart before Jimmy Schwartz builds the team up around him. He does some very good things, by the way, and for you fans that are looking for something, the Detroit Lions were #1 in the National Football League going into last week on 3rd and long situations. Now, Calvin Johnson's a big part of that, and it looks like we're not going to have Calvin. But Matt is going to be a fine player, and he's not responsible for all the sins of the past in Detroit.
And Calvin Johnson may, as you mentioned, may be a game-time decision. Kevin Smith could very well be a game-time decision again. So this could be another tough week on the road without your 2 best players.
And the decision to get on the bus and go to the airport's the first problem because they're not very good on the road. They've lost all the games on the road.
15 straight on the road.
And this year, they're losing by a margin of 17 points, and that's what I think is going to happen again.
All right, we'll see how it all plays out. It's 4:05 p.m. Eastern. For more on this game, stay with CBSSports.com. For Pat Kirwan, I'm Jason Horowitz. That'll do it for the NFL Preview Show presented by Tyson Anytizers, the meaty good man snack. Take care, folks.